Hello ratbags, it's Jade Plays Games. Welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. Today, I'm only discussing the beta date. We have a date confirmed, or a month confirmed for the beta, and I'm not impressed. I'm going to be going into it quite detailed. I'm going to be quite critical of why I'm really worried now, about what Fallout 76 really is going to contain. I'm not even talking about whether or not it's going to be a survival game or not a survival game, whether or not it's going to be a game like Rust, whether it's not, or any other comparisons I've made or other people have made. I'm talking about what kind of state the game is going to be in. Is it going to be a game we're actually going to be able to play on release, or are we going to have loads of problems, loads of bugs and glitches? The reason for that being because the beta is not coming until October. Today they posted on the Fallout 76 community forum site on their Bethesda website, popping in to say it's been very fun seeing everyone's discussion on Fallout 76 and what your hopes and thoughts are about the game. I and members of the studio regularly lurk, and it's great to read through all your questions and feedback. With that in mind, we know you're anxious to learn more about the game and more specifically about the beta. Starting October, we'll be selecting people who have pre-ordered the game from a participating retailer to enter our beta. We'll start small and grow over time as we prepare for launch. Be sure you've read our facts and conditions or terms, whatever it was, questions, for details on how to redeem your beta code and other important details. Now that sent people into meltdown. People were asking like, well, what retailers are going to get the beta first? Who's going to do it? Bearing in mind this is only a few hours ago, but I've already seen it on social media blow up. She's added, or they've added, I presume it's a girl, I have no idea why, maybe because it's called Jurassica. To clarify, everyone who pre-orders at a participating retailer will be included in the beta. Beyond that, we know you have numerous questions about the game. Things are still changing and being iterated on, so we cannot answer everything yet. But we encourage you to submit your questions during the Fallout 76 panel at QuakeCon. We'll be answering some of your questions. If you're in Dallas, come join us. If you're not able to make it in person, you can check out all the fun via the live stream airing on Mixer. Yada 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 yada. Whoa, mind blown. October time. So all these thoughts we had about it coming in July, maybe a month after, because Pete Hines had said they've got an internal beta at the moment. They're going to be working on that for the next 4 weeks. That was during E3, so we all assumed that maybe at the end of July, August, we would get a chance to play the beta. I remember seeing in a few articles as well, some of the, particularly Pete Hines, I'm sure it was, talking about the fact there might be multiple betas, or there would be a few betas, different chances. But it's starting in October. Well, why is that a problem? Well, we'll go through it in detail. But even though they've added that, they've said to clarify everyone who pre-orders it, it still sounds like people are going to get access to the beta before others. Now, that isn't something new. If you actually look on the facts and questions site, you should know by now that if you pre-order it on the Xbox, you will receive your code first. Here you can see it says, please note that the beta for Xbox One will begin first, followed by other platforms. So nothing out of the ordinary. We know lots of developers do this. Some developers like Call of Duty and Activision give people different beta times on PlayStation, or other games have done it in the past. Whoever they're being best friends with this generation normally gets something a little bit earlier. So that's still crap. I would prefer it if everyone had the same beta access, but that's just what they've agreed. Who knows what they've done? But judging by this post, it really does sound like that even with that, some people might not be getting access to it on day one. They're going to be giving it out in early little spits and spats. So what kind of beta is this? Because what I'm looking at now is this beta is literally just a stress test. There is going to be no feedback given or gained from the community. And I'm talking about the Fallout 76 community that are excited about this game. Whether or not you're like me, you've kind of was really hyped about it when you first heard about it, because you thought it was going to be something a bit different. You thought it was going to be something a bit more accomplished, like a survival open world multiplayer game, which it was billed as. When you look at all the trailers, I'll still argue with anyone that still wants to talk to me about it, but the trailers that were launching all throughout E3, all the pre-hype behind it, before it all led to make you think it was going to be something quite PvP focused. Nuclear missiles, showing the trailers shooting at other people, getting revenge. They're all big major facets of the trailers in all of them that have been shown. Yet most people still complained and said it's not going to be a survival, it's not going to be Rust. That was a shame in my eyes. I was looking forward to it being that type of game. But nevertheless, I'm still hyped for it. I still want to see what it's going to be. I want it to tell me I'm wrong. I want it to show me why it's such a thing that no one's been able to quantify what it's going to be. Even the developers, Peter Hines and Todd Howard, have said, don't call it anything. Don't call it Destiny. Don't call it, Rust-like game. It's not just Fallout 4 with, multiplayer. It's its own identity. It's got its own way of doing stuff. So I guess we really will have to see. But only having access and only some people getting access very beforehand is just a bit odd. I understand stress testing. I'm not stupid. Most games companies will open their betas up and they'll do it in starts and dribs and drabs because they don't want to overload their servers. They need to make sure their servers can handle the amount of people joining them. That is what day one problems are all about. You think about every online game that's launched in the last 4 or 5 years. Call of Duties even have had problems still, even though they're like the masters of online multiplayer since they've been doing it so long, yet they still can't get it right. Activision as well, again, obviously the big parent publisher of that, with Destiny, I get every single year mucked up. There's delays for hours, sometimes even a day before people can get access to a game that has been running online for like years now. Destiny's been running for what, nearly 4 years, coming up to it, maybe even nearly longer. So games companies use betas nowadays beforehand, particularly when they're really close to the release date, to stress test. So I don't blame a developer saying, we've got to do it a little bit light. We've got to put people into it gradually because we don't want to overload the servers. We want to see how much they can take it. But still doesn't give you a lot of time. What if they find there's huge problems with the beta? What if they find that there's just something gone mad and, they can't get it right within a few weeks? Do we still get the release date in November? What are we paying for? Are we paying for a full game that's going to work on day one? Whatever the game's going to be, is it going to work in the way it's intended? Are we going to have no problems, hours or days of no access to the game, even though we've paid full price for it? Because this is the kind of stuff I would expect an early access game to do, not a fully priced $60, you name it, whatever currency is in your currency, game. This is the kind of stuff that I would expect smaller developers to be doing, not big developers so soon. Like, in my eyes, what they should be doing is having betas way ahead, really give themselves time to make sure everything's okay, and not only with the stress testing of the servers, but also take feedback from the community, the people that are excited about the game. Because right now, what are they going to do? If people jump in the world and there's something they really don't like, how are Bethesda going to change it within just a few weeks? How are they going to gauge how much support there is for certain features and not other features if they're only releasing it in little waves to people and so soon to release? It just doesn't make sense. It's got me really worried about the quality of the game, not just like what the game's going to be, but whether or not the game's going to run properly. Are we going to even have access to the game? And what difference does a beta really make to a game if it's only doing it a few weeks before release? So there's no actual date here. It could be the 1st of October. Maybe the beta will run for like, a good week. I would assume it should be running for at least 2 weeks. In my eyes, that's a good length of time for a beta. Anyone that does betas only last for 2 days, they're just usually rubbish, and they normally extend them anyway. You think about all the betas you've played in the last 2 years. How often have they been extended because of problems? Because developers said, we couldn't get everyone on. There were server issues, or we really wanted to reward people for pre-ordering it, so we're giving you a bit extra time, or we want to get that feedback from you. So what feedback can they do? What can Bethesda do with anything we tell them? We don't like this, we like that feature, or please give us more of this feature, or can we work on these bugs or glitches or these problems first? How are they going to iterate on any of that stuff so soon? We know that the biggest developers in the world struggle to get day one patches right and get it out there, but there's always usually a day one patch. I don't expect anything different for this game because it's meant to be it's online always game, but god damn, I really don't think they've thought this through. I really don't understand. The only other way I can say it is this. Bethesda have hit the holy grail of gaming. Bethesda are so confident that their product is not going to break, is not going to be broken, it's going to run perfectly, their servers are going to be up and running just how they want them to be. It's going to take into account the hype generated, good, bad, whatever, people wanting to play the game, and everything's going to be fine. Do you believe that too? Are you believing the Bethesda hype there? Because that's all I can hear from this. Now, we know during the E3 presentation, we saw during interviews, particularly Todd Howard joking that the beta is broken, blah blah blah, we've got to fix it, that's what beta stands for. So if he's saying that yes, there will be problems with the beta, there is going to be problems with the game, why the fuck are we only having it in October? Why are we not having an early beta? Why are we waiting till then to get a chance to give feedback about the game? What can the developers possibly do? If you're about to comment, well, they said it's going to be a service that they're going to go over with time and they're going to change based on community feedback, that's all well and good, and that's great stuff. Planning content around what community wants, treating it like a live service, like many games are out there at the moment, like Destiny, Division's even got that element of it where they change stuff based on feedback. It's fantastic stuff. Rainbow Six Siege, another one, you know, what people really want. Fortnite, I should say, probably the best example of community feedback that gets put into the game, despite whether or not you like Battle Royales. We expect on release to have a working game. You know, this isn't an early access game. I don't want to be loading up Fallout 76 on November the 14th and sitting there for 6 or 8 hours because the servers are overloaded, or because they found some massive glitch in the game that they didn't have beforehand, they couldn't fix because they only had the beta running for 2 weeks beforehand. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not really, maybe I'm hyperboling it, maybe I'm exaggerating it, I don't know. But I can't think of a worse situation for an online game. If this is like some single player experience, you know, maybe they want to give people like a little tester, so they give people the starting level to try it out and just make sure, you know, that's promotion. It's not really beta testing it, it's not really checking to see if it needs any fixes, it's all just about promotion. And this is what this feels like. It feels like Fallout 76 beta at the moment is just promotion. It's going to be promotion for the game at October, and that's all it's going to be, because they won't be able to react quick enough with the stuff they find that needs improving, and I can't see how they're going to make some huge changes to the servers and how they're going to work within a few weeks either. Go ahead and please tell me, correct me, give me some examples of when it's been the way I've said, or when it's not been the way I've said. You give me an example of a really good launch that had a beta very close to launch, and then the launch happened, we didn't have any problems. Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting there to be no problems whatsoever, but all too often, when you pay full dollar for a game, you want that game to work within at least 24 hours. That's crazy. I'm saying that like I'm being apologetic about it. Like I should be like grateful that a game works within 24 hours of me buying it. But that's what we've come to expect now. That's what the shittiness is from games developers. They can release games that always need a day one patch, and they never know if that day one patch is going to break it a little bit more, or shut the servers down, or they're going to spend more time doing it. Lately, Fallout 76 news has just gone more and more a little bit mad. It's just going to be in different directions, and it's great in a way. It really is great. But this is definitely the most worrying thing I have seen about Fallout 76, that the beta is so close to release that they're not going to be giving it access to everyone. Obviously, they're staggering it, and I know that's a common practice, but still, that seems a really dodgy situation. So people who have pre-ordered it on the basis they get access to the beta might not even be able to play in the beta for that long, because they won't get it until like the last few days. How is it going to work? I guess we'll have these questions answered more at QuakeCon. August the 9th to the 12th, they're going to be doing a Q&A session with the developers of it about Fallout 76. But man, that is going to be nuts. August, Saturday 11th, there we go, 11 AM CT time. We will be on that. I think I might even live stream with that, and we'll take some, talk about it afterwards. It is just a bit odd. It's just really weird. I can't think of a game, an online game, like Destiny had betas a good few months before full release. Or, it had an extended beta as well. They had different stages of it. So to only have one beta, which I'm guessing it's going to be just one, unless they're going to do it like weekends, but that's no good to anyone. If they have, 2 or 3 weekends, how are they really going to gain any knowledge from just having it open for 2 days? Again, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. If you've played any game that's had a really good beta and it's launched perfectly, you tell me. And what do you feel about the fact that we're not going to get a chance to really give feedback? We're not going to get a chance to give community feedback based on playing the game, because how are the devs going to implement them changes so quickly? Like I said, maybe this is the difference between an early access game or an indie game or a smaller game. They'll have problem you know, getting that feedback in and changing stuff ready for that launch. But because Bethesda are bigger, because they've got the money, the clout, the good developers, you know, really experienced, maybe they can pull it off. Maybe I've got to have more trust and I've got to believe more in Bethesda in doing this. But if anyone's played any of the Elder Scrolls Online games, you'll know all about the problems that happened when that launched. That also had issues when it launched on PC in its beta forms, and even on console it had problems when it launched. So I really am not holding much hope out for Fallout 76 to really be useful. This beta is not going to be useful other than just to sell stuff and, well, I presume give us a chance to play the game and try it out if it's going to work out. It just depends who gets access to it. The only thing is, Todd Howard had said that he said that it is going to be the full game, more or less. They're that confident in the game? You let me know your thoughts and opinions about that. What do you think about it? Is it going to be a hot mess? Is there big problems in store? Or do you think Bethesda have got it in the bag? They know what they're doing. We've just got to believe, and I've got to shut the fuck up and just trust in Bethesda delivering a product that's going to work. Regardless of what you think about the game, whether you're looking forward to it, not looking forward to it, you just want to jump all over it when you realise, or everyone realises it's not what they wanted and it's not what anyone wanted, or are you really, really hyped and excited still about playing this type of Fallout experience? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm Jade Plays Games. I will see you ratbags for another important Fallout 76 video. Until then, make sure you've got notifications turned on, and I'll see you later.